Hey there, welcome to CNT Collectibles. I am C. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Welcome back. It's time to get to work. This is 3 up and 3 down, where we look at the top 3 risers and fallers in the world of baseball cards over on Card Ladder. And then we'll hop over to Star Stock and Fangraphs and look at a few players that had some great weeks on the actual diamond and see what, if anything, there's a comma in there. I think punctuation counts, people. We're all about grammar here. Anything we should do with their particular cards. So we'll start it off this week with an honorable mention just because he's super relevant. This was like the number 4 riser, but he's next on the list. Just missed it, but it's like everybody wants Vlad, right? So we should at least take a look at him here. So this is the PSA 9, the number up 59% on the week here. And you can see that it hit the bottom of the trend line and took a very nice pop up to the top of the range here. So this is bringing into an area where selling has taken place before. So really, Vlad's kind of in this consolidation. Hasn't done a whole lot. Well, let me say that's not insignificant by any stretch here, 60%. But it's been a lot of volatile movement for the past few months here. So we'll see how this goes if the next one brings it back down to the range here. But still interested there's still a lot of interest in Vlad. So let's get into the actual risers and fallers, and we'll start off with a Lubob down 39% for the week. This is a short print in a PSA 9. So down 39%. Bring it into an area where there has been some buying in the past, but it's pretty thinly traded, so it's difficult to say what happens next on it. But this is a card I've actually been looking at, and I've seen some of the raw versions go for a little over $100 or whatever. So personally, if I see that price there, I might scoop one up as well. But what we need to keep in mind with Lubob as well is he's 24 years old. He's really just kind of getting started here. And at age 24, you want to see someone with, for that longer term outlook, someone with 12, 13 wins to their name. And he's not quite there, but with the way Chicago's going, playoffs, all these guys could get some sort of a lift. So he's at a minimum in a trading basket. So seems like an interesting enough area for that one. And number 3 riser for the week is Mariano Rivera, the Sandman, up 63%. So bottom of the range and getting a nice lift to the top of the range here. So we'll see if selling comes back out again. That's a big move in 1 week here. So who knows what happens next, but risk reward is not favorable at this time. And even when it did break out above this, you only had 2 people thinking that this is the price. So right now, there's a lot of buying in this area, so a little bit pullback would seem to make some sense, but we'll see how it goes. Number 2 faller for the week, Willie Mays. Say, hey, what? 43% down, new highs, and then coming back off of that. And so there may be a little bit more downside in the area where there's been some buying, but again, so thinly traded. And honestly, how often do these cards come up in the PSA 5? Pretty decent condition here. So we'll see how we'll see what happens. I'll just keep saying we'll see what happens because I don't know what happens. I'm not going to pretend to know what happens, but what is that next buyer thinking if it comes up? Maybe they just have to scoop it up at whatever that price is. Number 2 riser for the week, Reindeer's Arena, up 73%. That's a monster move, bottom of the range, and getting some lift to the top of the range. So a lot of consolidation here while people try to make up their mind what to do with him here. So Tampa, they look kind of unstoppable, and if they get in the playoff, and if he repeats his September, October from last year, then yeah, this card should break out, and you should see a lot of interest. So it'll go there without me, but if he repeats last year, no stopping that card. So our number 1 faller for the week, Jackie Robinson, down 54%. So that's a significant move, for a $20,000 card to take that kind of a hit here. So is it breaking its longer term uptrend and even shorter term resistance here? We'll see if a buyer is willing to come in. There's a lot of buying in this area if they can lift it back up to that. So this could prove to be a decent deal. But if this breaks down, then not a lot of buying for a long ways, actually. So we'll see what we'll monitor that. I have to keep saying we'll see. We'll monitor the situation. And our number 1 riser for the week, Will the Thrill, 86 tops traded up 77% in a decent downtrend, breaking out of that one. So what you'd want to see is a retest and then some sort of pop. So no need to chase it here. Maybe a little bit of a pullback, but again, only $100. Between someone paying 130 or paying 80, that's just kind of how it's for a PSA 10. It can get pushed around pretty easily because people aren't going to think too hard about those prices. All right, let's hop over to Star Stock and take a look at a few players of the week. Okay, we'll start off with a few pitchers here. First off is Aaron Nola, who went 8 2/3 of an inning, 2 earned runs, 11K. No decision on that one, but he's really having a pretty terrific season here. He is a 28-year-old with 22 wins above replacement, so he's just kind of getting started into his prime as far as pitchers go, really, they start to peak 27, 28, and they can go till 34, 35 pretty effectively here. So you can see that he's had some, he's just been solid. He's been real solid since his age 23 season, which is unusual. So either you come up later and start dominating, but or you come up early and start to fizzle out. But he's been a pretty darn consistent player, and this is a decent level of wins above replacement. So he does have to have a pretty solid peak here for the next couple of years. But for now, kind of doing what you want. So what you want. So what I like to see here is a strikeouts, double digits per 9 walks, lowest level of his career. So he's getting a bit better, and he's not getting unlucky by any stretch. He's actually pitching a little bit better than his ERA would suggest overall. So rocky-ish to start. He wasn't the ace at the beginning of the year that everyone kind of was looking for, but the way the Phillies pitching stuff is kind of coming along a little bit here, he's really stepping up his game. And so hop over to StarStock and you can look at his 2016 Topps Series 1 baseball card. And it's sitting currently at 17 cents. So the StarStock A, and I think this is absolutely a player worth speculating on, especially at that price, even though it's a pitcher. But if you can get it in here or something relatively close, I think Aaron Nola, as the Phillies, continue to just do what they're doing, that pitching staff gets better. Maybe people will catch on to how good he's really been. Again, that soft stretch earlier this year didn't really help things, but he's putting it together here. So I was a little quick on that one. This one didn't load up here, but hey, so again, I got to fire my editor on this one, but whatever, you get what you pay for on this one. So questionable advice and even worse production value is how it goes around here. Robbie Ray had 8 innings pitched, 1 earned run, and also had 11 strikeouts. He's been fantastic all season. 29 years old. He's got 14 wins to his name here, so keep that in mind, and we'll compare him to Aaron Nola here. But K9, 11, and just been fantastic strikeout guy really since his age 24 season, back in 2016. But the big difference is this year he's dropped those walks, and that's really been his bugaboo here. 3, 4, 5, 7 walks, last season, shorter sample size, but just over 2 walks per 9, which is pretty incredible stuff here. So if you look at his ERA, pitching a little worse than his ERA with that xFIP here, but he's controlling what he can control. The left on base percentage around 90% is a little bit high, so you can see that there's room for perhaps a little bit of regression, but for the time being, what he's doing is pretty amazing. And if he's in that Cy Young talk, I mean, it's, Walker Buehler's right up, maybe leading the pack in the leading the pack here, but that's NL. But yeah, anyways, we'll see how this goes. But there's a couple of names here, but Shohei, maybe even who knows how the Cy Young shakes out in the AL. I don't have the names off the top of my head here, but he's probably in that conversation. So if we look at his 2014 Topps update right now, there hasn't been a sale for a while. This goes back to April, but for a couple bucks, it's like I think I'd rather take a shot on Aaron Nola. Honestly, this has been pretty incredible, but not a lot of activity in this card, so I'm not sure what you do with it, but. Again, with the longevity, Toronto could be. Tampa's kind of run away with that division here, so we'll see what kind of run Toronto can make here. But with Robbie Ray, it's just like, yeah, he's pitching fantastic. So his cards should be getting love, and if they're not, then there's a reason you maybe gotta stay away from it. So. All right, Tristan Mckenzie, wrap up the pitchers here. 7 innings pitched, an earned run, and 8 strikeouts. He's had 3 straight quality starts. He's really been pitching well lately here. So, rookie. What more can you say? 23 years old. So it's too early to say anything here. He's got a decent strikeout rate. Walking a little too much, as a lot of these guys are, getting a little bit unlucky on the left on base here. But he's pitching a little bit better than his ERA, which is in the 4s. And so again, he's a rookie. We'll see how he fleshes that out over the next couple of years. But he has his rookie card in Topps Series 1. So. You can see that there was a pretty decent lift here, 40 cents to 85 cents, and it's 100%, right? So it's still a pretty cheap card, and maybe decent for speculation kind of at this area of support. You can maybe, as Cleveland kind of falls off a little bit, maybe you get a crack sub 30 cents or something like that, but Aaron Nola's going to cost you half of that here. So Tyler Naquin, get into some hitters here. Pretty terrific week. He hit 500 with 4 home runs, 9 runs scored, and 5 RBI. So he's a 30-year-old with 4.4 wins to his name here. So even on this season, nothing crazy, and you just chalk it up to a really great week. And so if you are looking for his card and there's not any information for him on StarStock, keep it cheap. Maybe this isn't the week that you buy with what he did. So take a look at Brandon Lau, who was 9 for 26, 3 home runs, 9 runs scored, and 9 runs batted in. This is a player that we've talked about before. He's streaky. If you look at what he has done, he's never played a full season. But in 2018 or 2019, excuse me, before he got hurt, he was a Rookie of the Year pace, and then last year, 2020, he was MVP pace for the first half of the season at least, and then this year he's starting to play a full season for the first time, and he's going to wind up being a 5-win player, which is pretty amazing stuff. But he is 27 years old, just turned 27 with 10 wins to his name, so he's off the track. And so when you're buying his cards, you're buying it, you're putting it into a trading basket here. So it's something that you would buy and kind of sell. It's not just buy it, put it away for a long time, and you have to exit before his career is over, most likely. But the average is creeping up from earlier this year, and you can see that his strikeouts have come down just a little bit here, hitting a ton of home runs, and his weighted runs created 134, so it's really elite level bad. One of the things that we noticed is he's going to have to start hitting some more, in our regression series right around the All-Star break, so he's going to have to start hitting more line drives, and you can see that the line drive rate, the ground ball rate's coming up a little bit, and the fly ball rate's coming down just a bit. So he's starting to line it just a little bit more, and he had a terrific week, which he's completely capable of in the way that the Rays are going. Maybe he finishes really strong as everybody raises their game. Under Franco having a great week, Arizona, everyone's getting it going here, so he'll go along for the ride, and he's certainly capable of that. And you look at his prices right now, right around $1. That's a pretty decent speculation area for the Chrome cards. You get down to $1. That's usually the floor on a lot of these things, especially for players who have done something. So that's absolutely worth a shot going into the postseason, I would say. And I've noticed I've had a few Brandon Lau cards listed on StarStock, and those have started to get picked up. Finally, I set a price a while ago, and they're starting to hit those prices here. So there it is. Yeah, Brandon Lau. We've liked him, and it's maybe going to start paying off just a little bit here. Luke Voigt, 10 for 21, almost 500. A couple of home runs, 5 runs scored, and 11 RBIs. This is a 30-year-old with 6 wins to his name. Hasn't done a whole lot. I mean, last year was a pretty torrid pace for home runs. And if you extrapolate that out, he's close to a 5-win player this year. Just starting, it's just hurt a little bit here. High strikeout rate, low walk rate, 260 average. Starting to hit a few home runs, this week. So as the Yankees start to pick up some steam, he's leading the charge a bit here. So we know that the power is there with the exit velocity and the max exit velocity. Not at elite levels by any stretch here, but pretty darn good for the most part here. I think I could have thrown up a baseball savant page for him, I guess. But again, with that age, and with the wins above replacement, this is more of a trading basket type person rather than than stash for the long term. And you can see his prices. Get rid of the PSA 10 if I can here. There we go. And you can see that his prices, down at $2 level, which I think maybe even, or excuse me, yeah, is that $2 there? May even be a little bit expensive, but it's a Yankee, and if they make it into the postseason, then he's going to have that Yankee premium to him. So you're buying it for that kind of hope. You're hoping he gets in the playoffs, and that's when you take it off the table. That's what you're probably buying Luke Voigt at the time for. And we'll wrap it up here with Max Muncie, 30 years old, almost 31 years old, with 14 wins to his name. So we know the drill on that one here, but he has been pretty darn terrific since he came up at age 27 and started getting full-time at bats. 5 wins, 4 wins. Last year was not a good year for him by any stretch, but it's a short sample size, and he was getting fairly unlucky for the most part. But this year, he's having an MVP type season, so probably he's not going to get it as long as Tatis is around. But we'll take a look at that part. They're just his cards. For the most part, you're buying them for hot streaks, for good seasons. But getting this late start, if he came up at 23 or 24 was doing this, then you would have him in the $150 category. But coming up at age 27 and doing this, not so much for the most part here. So one thing I did want to look at is he's just been so terrific for the last couple of seasons, and even this year, Fernando Tatis. He's your NL MVP. Even if the season ends today, just what he's doing basically. But right behind that, a lot of people were talking about Bryce Harper maybe coming up. It's like, I liked Trey Turner, and I think Max Muncy is not far behind him, if at all. I mean, they're right neck and neck, and with the home runs, they probably just give it to that guy right there. So The average 270 and elite level strikeout rate, high walk rate. I mean, he's just a terrific player. 158 weighted runs created. So MVP level season for the most part here. On eBay, you can get his cards for $5 or $6. His 2015 update, he's got a split card on the A's with I forget who the other player is, but he's really been terrific for the past few years. He unfortunately got a little bit later start. So again, don't chase him too high. You like him, get a card, keep it cheap, $5, $6 or something like that for the Raws. But for the most part, but he's been amazing, and at least wanted to get him in on one of these weeks here. So that's what I got for you. I hope everyone has a great rest of the day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye now.